Welcome to Nerd Initiative Variant Edition, the podcast where the pages of your favorite comics come to life. I'll be your guide through the world of inks, pencils, and storytelling that shape the comics that we love. Each episode, I sit down with the artists and the writers behind the characters and the stories and the universes you can't get enough of. So grab your sketchbook or pull up a chair because today we're diving deep into the creative process, the challenges, and the passion that fuel the world of the comic book creation. On today's episode, we have a comic book writer who I'm so excited to talk to. He's an Eisner Award winner, a comic book creator, and has written things like The Pitiful Human Lizard, Dazzler, and Werewolf by Night. Please welcome Jason Lowe.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me, Megan.
I'm so excited you're here. I've been looking forward to this for weeks, and especially yesterday after my review for Dazzler number 4 came out, which was phenomenal. I love that entire run that you made.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we just wrapped up the Dazzler World Tour. I can't believe it.
I know, it went a little too fast for me because I wanted so many more installments of it.
No, I agree. I mean, there's only so much you can do in 4 issues.
I agree. So to get us started, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about you?
Yeah, I'm a Toronto-based cartoonist. I started out writing, drawing, coloring, lettering, everything on Pitiful Human Lizard, and after that, I teamed up with Chip Zdarsky to work on Afterlift, and we won an Eisner together, and then we followed up with the All-Nighter. All-Nighter and Afterlift, they were both titles that were found in the Comixology originals, and because of that Eisner, it helped open doors where I got to work on Star Wars Adventures and the High Republic Adventures for IDW, and Marvel found me. Actually, the funny thing about Marvel was they saw a sample work I did like 7 years prior that a friend of mine tweeted 7 years later, and they were like, well, Tom Brevoort was like, I gotta have this in one of my books, and he introduced me to a bunch of editors, and here I am working on all these Marvel properties.
Wow, that's amazing. I guess it really does seem like fate brought you here.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's there were times where like I thought I would just give up comics, like thinking either I've just been exhausted by the industry or just thought I've done like everything I wanted in comics, but no, like once they've given me access to this really cool sandbox with all these cool characters I grew up with, it kind of revitalized my passion to work in comics.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm so happy for you. This is all so great. And it's clear that you could see your passion for the characters come to life from the pages. I mean, talking about Dazzler, Dazzler has had such a unique and sometimes underappreciated journey, I think super underrated. In the Marvel Universe, what drew you to writing her character?
Well, it all started with Martin Bureau, the editor, who reached out to me thinking I would be a perfect fit, thinking, he wanted to bring some fun into the series, and he, it was under the speculation of Taylor Swift might be playing Dazzler in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. So yeah, we wanted to have a comic ready just in time for like if that scenario was the case. And I was like, all right, like let me see what I can do, and hopefully we can try to get some synergy with the Swiftie fans to come along and join the Marvel universe. And I wanted to bring that Taylor Swift Eras tour experience into the Marvelverse, and but at the same time, like, elevate Dazzler's career by giving her big first world tour, because I don't think we've seen her at that level yet. Since she's been performing in just smaller venues and stuff. But no, like, yeah, this was her time to shine, and we'll see how it goes in the new era of X-Men comics when mutants are again hated and feared.
I love that you brought up Taylor Swift because when I heard the rumors of her being in Deadpool and Wolverine, I thought, I don't think she's in it, but I think this is a really clever ploy to hype up the new Dazzler run. So I put those together as well. So I see why that happened, but I'm actually kind of excited that she wasn't Taylor. I like Dazzler as herself, just her own thing. And I think you really did capture the essence throughout the entire comic of Dazzler.
Oh, good, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to try to please all fans. I mean, it's funny because Dazzler's like trying to tease. I mean, she's trying to please all of her fans in the comic, and here I am, like, what if we do get like the Swiftie fans crossing over? Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like the Marvel office, we were all in the dark of the gossip. So we were just taking a gamble.
I guess I never really thought that you guys really wouldn't know. I mean, Marvel is wild about keeping secrets.
Yeah, well, I mean, the studios, when they have the secret, they want to keep it tight-lipped.
Which is fair.
Yes.
They had all of Ant-Man Quantumania. The entire script leaked word for word, so I get it. So, Dazzler is both superhero and a performer. How do you balance her dual identity as a hero and a pop star in your storytelling?
Well, I just focused more on her, like lean into her music career because like that's what she always wanted since day one. Like she never, when she was invited to join the X-Men in the early Uncanny X-Men run, like she said she wanted to just focus on her music and this is her chance where she's reached this big milestone in her career, where like she just wants to focus on delivering an awesome show around the world. So there's not much like the superhero thing is pretty much on the back burner, but she finds herself having to use her skills as an X-Men to defend herself.
Yeah, that's something I've always appreciated about her. The mutants, they go from, oh no, I'm a mutant to I'm an X-Men so quick. And she's always kept it 100 and said, I just want to be a pop star. I just want to be famous. And I've always loved that.
Yeah, and when you have like so much pressure trying to please millions of fans in this world tour, like she's so driven. Like that's her main focus. Like she has no time to focus on anything else of like fighting evil, but she'll use her platform to take a stand and fight for what's right in her tour.
I did really love that aspect about every issue of Dazzler, that it had the overtones of her being a pop star and just trying to get through her tour while being a mutant, but it also had the undertones of like fighting the bigotry and the hatred, like one tour date at a time. And I loved it all throughout, even the songs, which Out and Proud was I wish I could actually hear it, but like it was written beautifully.
Oh, thank you so much. When I do have the confidence, I would like to like just try to sing like my version of the lyrics. I just needed some time to practice, but I've always like had it in my head of like just when I'm writing it out. But funny thing is, like whenever I go back to I'll write out the first draft of the song lyrics, and then like with some melody in mind, and then I go back and the melody that I originally had would slightly change, and then I'd find myself continuing from where I left off with a slightly different melody, and I'm hoping that it does um, does sound cohesive in its own way. Funny enough, like this morning, someone sent me an AI of an AI music track of Out and Proud AI, which I don't support by for the
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
But I mean, it gave me a good rough idea of that. It was like, yeah, like this kind of works. I mean, it just totally works as a song, though. I would not like make it sound like a um, classic rock tune. Like it would be a bit more melancholy. Well, the start of Out and Proud would be a bit more melancholy, like in at the start with like very Taylor Swift flavored.
That's what I thought it was. It like kind of started slow, and it felt like a heart wrenching song, while at the same time having her sass thrown into it.
I gotta pull up the lyrics and see if I can just read through it again, and so I can kind of like give an idea of the melody I had. Um, yeah, like Homo superior, they say, with powers beyond compare. But all I wanted was to sing, to dazzle, and to share. You can call me Dazzler for the light I bring, but the truth is, it's a burden, it's a heavy thing. Like that kind of, it's a little bit off, but like that sort of tone, and then it kind of builds up to the chorus.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's a weird position to be in because you never really read songs from a comic. But I mean, if you go and make that song, you're cutting edge right there. You're starting something new.
Thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny because like people can have their own interpretations of the melody, and it could work either way. Like you see all these different covers for songs with interesting approaches. So yeah, I'm all open. Hopefully, we'll get to hear some very musically inclined people to come up with their versions.
I'm not a Swiftie by any means. Appreciate what she does, just not for me. But I would like to see Taylor Swift take a stab at that song.
I was like hoping that like if she was going to be in the movie that like what if like they showed her the comic and they gave her like a 5 minute short on Disney Plus where she can just pick one of the songs and do her own version. I was just fantasizing. Hopefully that could have been a possibility, but
Man, that would.
maybe one day. It's not too late.
It's never gonna be too late. She just has to do it. I mean, come on, just lean into those rumors of her being Dazzler. She might as well.
Well, yeah. I remember Ryan Reynolds. He in an interview he addressed rumors and saying like, like she deserves her own feature. And it's like, sure, why not? Sure. I don't make the call, but I mean, if Ryan Reynolds has the confidence that, yeah, like, sure, why not? Maybe like a little Disney Plus feature.
Or something special
Something.
presentation.
Exactly.
Really anything. So, how do you approach writing a character like Dazzler who has both extraordinary talents and powers and very human vulnerabilities? How do you make her relatable to readers?
Sorry, repeat that question again.
I realized it was probably two different questions right there. So, Dazzler, she has extraordinary powers, extraordinary talents, but she's also very human with vulnerabilities outside of her mutanism. How do you try to make that relatable to readers?
Uh, I mean, I think that adds to like how she was originally written in the first series. It's very down to earth, very relatable. Like she's just a aspiring singer that's trying to get through the hustle and bustle. It reads like a soap opera. That's what I try to go for. Like lean more into the drama of things. That way, um, we we can just focus on like what's on her mind during these stressful times of preparing a tour and all, and like does she need a pivot when things go unplanned, like the anti-mutant rallies that are going on outside her shows. um it's sorry, I almost lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
But yeah, I think like what makes her human is like she's trying to come up with the best decisions as best as she can, which might not be the best, but like she's making them on the spot, and even relying on someone like Wind Dancer to help with that. Which and the thing is like Wind Dancer is I guess she like for Dazzler's safety, like she wants to make sure that she's safe and saying the right things, and present it in a safer way, um, um, even though it kind of contradicts what Wind Dancer was in the previous comics, where like she was very vocal about being out and proud, but like in a world in this new era, like like after being shaken up from Krakoa, like you don't want like what could like be the next thing that could happen after Orcus. So like they're trying to they're walking on eggshells since everything from Krakoa.
Yeah, I see that in most of the From the Ashes line. You saw it with Wind Dancer. You kind of saw it with Domino. I see it with Kitty Pryde. Everyone does seem shaken up and just like not sure where to go with their lives. But I like that Dazzler is just like, I'm still gonna be a star. I've died. I've come back. I've lived through the end of Krakoa. I'm just here to be me, and I really appreciated that.
And especially when like she's dropped an album and there's a lot of people that are loving it, and she's like, I gotta go out there and be me, and just and entertain these fans, because it looks like there is a lot of traction for it.
Yeah. I mean, even in our world, that would do really well, especially with the current climate of how people feel these days. I think that would be very, very relevant to now in our world.
Oh, for sure, 100%. And we see pop stars that like either just remain quiet and just not
Yeah.
even take a stance, um, and you see their popularity still like remain strong,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it's questionable about like what is their stance on some of these real world issues, and there are some people that like Dua Lipa, who believes like we that there should be a free Palestine, and is getting some backlash from her
Yeah.
fans because of that. It's hard to win when you pick a side.
Even when you don't pick a side, because Chapel Roan said she didn't like, and not to get political, but didn't like any political options she had, and she got nailed for that too. So it's like, if you comment at all, you're gonna lose fans. If you don't comment, you're not gonna lose as many fans, but people do look at you differently.
Exactly, absolutely,
It's it's such a hard position to be in. I'm
very.
I'm glad it's not me. I'm good. So, Dazzler's powers involved light and sound. How did you approach writing scenes that highlight her abilities in creative ways, especially with her dynamic power set?
Yeah, I had to go through her. Definitely go through like her trading cards to look at her like more of her abilities, as well as the Marvel fandom wiki. to see what else she can do with these powers. So I can just try to use them creatively as best as I can, or have her use them creatively as best as she can. Um, but yeah, it's like she can make force fields out of her light energy. She can make light shards. She can do all sorts of things, which is pretty neat. Um, Besides making her own light show for the for her concerts. Um, yeah.
I liked how you used them. Like I said in all my reviews for on nerdinitiative.com for those who want to read, that the artwork I think really embodied Dazzler and showing how they used her powers within in the comics. It felt so natural and authentic, and it just flowed so well.
And that's all thanks to Rafael Larreiro, who makes it look so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so happy with that pairing, and to find out that this is his first Marvel work, and he gets better and better every issue, and by the time when I got to like issue 3 and seeing her use her powers against the Lockbots, I was like, yes, this is the action that I want to see. Um, like we haven't seen that kind of action until like issue number 3, and he really brought it. It's so much energy, so much adrenaline. It feels like a really cool anime just reading it.
Yeah, I agree. We didn't see that action until the third because, you had her manager and her security telling her no powers at the concerts, keep everyone safe, all that. And then at the third one, it's like she didn't have a choice. And then the artist, Raphael, is much like Dazzler, where he was just unleashed, where he got to unleash his talents in the third one, and it showed so well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I wish we had a bit more than 4 issues, so we can kind of like give a good, like, just to show good display of everything to celebrate Dazzler. But we had to pick and choose like the soap opera and the action and her like the political elements behind an
Yeah.
X-Men comic.
I'd say it came at exactly the right time off the Taylor Swift hype, off the political climate, all that. It just worked very well at that point in time.
Oh, I totally agree. Totally agree. We needed stuff like this especially during From the Ashes.
Yes, I agree. And I like that it really wasn't connected to much of anything in From the Ashes until the end when the NYX crew showed up, which I really, really liked that crossover because I was reading NYX too. And I thought it was really sweet. Of course, Kamal is a fangirl. It was really nice.
I was I was just excited to be part of a crossover within this, and it's funny because like me and the X writers were on this Discord, and that like as we were establishing our respective titles, we were planning like some soft crossovers, and you have X-Men and Uncanny X-Men having their rate of Grey Milk, and then like me Jackson and Colin, like we were like, well, both of our characters are going to be in New York at the same time in December. Let's do something.
Oh, wow.
So we can be part of this crossover, and it's funny because like we're in the month of December, and it feels like every title is tied in with another series.
Which I really like. I love when they cross over. Those things are just like, it's just such a guilty pleasure. I guess not guilt, just a pleasure. I didn't know that's how it worked. That you guys have like a Discord and you're like, oh, this will work with you. I don't really know what I thought happened, but that wasn't it.
It's almost like an episode of Drag Race where like, like when you're being paired up, and then like you have like like 2, 3 stragglers that are not paired. It was like, well, maybe we can do something, and here we are.
That's really cool. I like that you guys all work together like that. It makes it, I don't know, it makes me love From the Ashes even more than I already have. It just feels so intertwined with each other.
Oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, we want to, since we are in the same sandbox, we want to like make sure like there is this connection and it's all part of the same universe.
Yeah, I think you guys do really, really great with that. Um, so you did touch on earlier a little bit that you did pull Dazzler's story from a particular era or storyline. Could you give a little bit more about that?
Um, well, the era it's pretty much the new era right now, which is like
Yeah.
this is her new milestone, and that's her launching her new world tour. That like this is a level that she's never performed before, and
Mm-hmm.
there is a lot of manpower, mutant power that that goes into running uh, a grand show like that, especially when it's scattered all around the world. Um, yeah, it's kind of neat. Um, it's hard when there's only 4 issues and you have a world tour and you want to try to feature as much countries as possible,
Yeah.
and so you kind of just had to pick and choose which places you can feature. Um, yeah, I was kind of happy how with the locations we picked. So we had, well, I guess we had 2 North American tour dates, one in the West Coast, one in the East Coast, and then UK and Japan, and then and Madripoor as well. Um, yeah, and I think yeah, like I've already mentioned this before, but yeah, like she's just trying to navigate her way through all the tribulations, um, while trying to maintain a good image of herself.
I think she did well. I mean, I liked so many little things. Like you saw the fans tweeting about her, or just, and they're such on such different spectrum ends of the spectrum. They're like, oh, she's horrible, she's the worst, she's a mutant, and the other one's like, let's go Dazzler. I liked how you guys captured that very modern vibe throughout the all 4 issues.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that was a way to definitely show like how does the whole world view her, um, and also like yeah, just picking and choosing um, the click clockers that we want to see that reflects her the temperature of what she's bringing into the world.
Yeah, I it nailed it. That's all I can really say. So in the run, did you want to explore how Dazzler's powers and public persona impacted her relationships with other characters in the Marvel Universe, such as her security team, which was stacked, by the way?
Oh, thank you. Sorry, repeat the question again, please.
Oh, it's okay. I realize I
No, no,
keep
it's my
trailing off,
fault.
but no, I keep trailing off because I'm like really excited. Um, so did you, when you first started writing it, did you want to explore how the Dazzler's powers and public persona impacted her relationships with other characters in Marvel, such as her security team, like their dynamic now that she's out being a superstar?
Yeah, I mean, when it came to coming up with her supporting cast, it was almost like organic,
Mm-hmm.
um, and and how I've used some of these characters before. Um, so when Martin, when he approached me with the project, he says, okay, like, so yeah, like, would you want to work on Dazzler? So far we have Dazzler with Strong Guy and Domino. It's like awesome. Like that makes sense to have Domino, and um, and Strong Guy. That's like, actually, like, I was gonna suggest, if we have Strong Guy, let's bring in Multiple Man, because
Yeah.
I've read in both of them in Uncanny X-Men. No, X-Men Unlimited, the Infinity series, and I wanted to bring that fun buddy aspect into the series. But even though, like, this is Dazzler's book, like, she is the lead character, like, it had to be toned down, but, like, it was having Multiple Man helped explain um the level of production that she has, and because he's the one man production crew.
Yeah.
And so I felt that was just a no brainer to have. Having Shark Girl as a drummer, like, I have written her in the Layla Chinney episode of X-Men Unlimited, and I was like, like, let's bring her over in Dazzler's band, and let's have Wind Dancer come along as her PR agent, PR manager, since we've seen her with Layla Chinney, and the thing is, it's like, you know like, after that issue with Layla Chinney, where she was forced to be in this dating show to help promote her new album. Of course, Layla Cheney fired Wind Dancer because that was a bad idea. So, Wind Dancer crossed over to Dazzler's team, and same with Shark Girl. Um, yeah, so it kind of just worked organically, since I previously worked on these characters.
That's really cool. I didn't realize that. I like that you brought them in because they were just random enough to where they made sense, but you didn't see it coming that they would be there, but it was like, well, of course they're there. It's Multiple Man. She needs help.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else would have he been doing? I mean, he's
Yeah.
a one man security team, one man production team. Actually, he could have been, like, doing other things in another title, and it's funny because when I picked him, they had to double check if he was going to be used in any other title, and I was like, look, he's a Multiple Man. He can be anywhere. Just give me if it doesn't have to be Prime. Just give me one of the dupes, and then he can just multiply to be the supporting cast.
That's true. I never thought that he could just cross over everywhere and it would have absolutely no impact on the story.
Exactly. They all have their own personalities, or just a sub segment of his of Prime.
Hmm. That's awesome. So what do you want people to take away from this Dazzler run?
um, Hopefully that, like, a celebration of Dazzler. Like, here she is, like, she's reached this milestone, and we've got five original new songs, that hopefully that fans can play around with, and come up with their own renditions of her song, um, and and hopefully, like, seeing that she's much more mainstream now, that in the 616, that you'll see all of her posters, like, show up, no, in any country in the world.
Yeah, I just saw oh, I hope I'm not wrong. I believe it was Gwen Stacy and Stephanie Phillips' Ghost Spider run wearing a Dazzler shirt. And I was like, oh, look at that.
Yep.
I love those little things. But as we wrap up, is there any projects we should keep an eye out for if you're allowed to say anything?
Well, we saw at the very end of issue 4, that she's got a new gig. and that's going to be coming out in April. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, I already sent the script, and it's going to be lots of fun. But at the same time, um, it's also a bit of we get to see a little bit of the aftermath of from the world tour. Like, how has she been doing since that last show?
Yeah, she's got to feel cheated out of her world tour.
Yeah,
World tour. She got like 3-4 spots.
and we think that she's held it together since the very end. We'll see. And if you saw that last page, that poster to her new gig, Lila Cheney's featured, and Luna Snow.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Yep. Could they be possibly headlining a show? We'll see.
I have my fingers crossed. I would really like that a lot.
But other than that, yeah, I got Werewolf by Night. That's still continuing next year. Issue number 5 came out a while ago in December, and as we saw at the very end of that issue, and as we see in the solicits for issue number 6 and 7, Lilith is back. The Queen Lilith. She's taken over the Darkholders, and she's bringing her brand of evil. It's just gonna get darker for Jack Russell. I'm sorry. It's just gonna get darker, and the horror is gonna be turned up, way up. Lots of blood and gore. Yeah, man. I can't wait for people to enjoy.
I'm into it when it gets darker for Jack. I don't know why. It's just funny for me. So I loved everything you've done. You're doing amazing. And can you tell our listeners where they can find you and where they can keep an eye out for your next project?
Yeah, you can find me on just 2 social media websites now.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Lowe Makes Comics at Instagram, and I'm only Jason Lowe on Blue Sky.
Oh,
the first Jason Lowe with no numbers.
I do enjoy Blue Sky. It's a really nice area, nice vibe, I guess, of the comic community.
It's a nice positive vibe. I'm enjoying it. It's very relaxing. I haven't been doom scrolling, which is great, and I find myself taking enough breaks from it and just popping in for a few seconds to go, oh, this is a nice, lovely place, and then get back to work.
I completely understand that. Sorry, my daughter walked in. She's not very pleased. You're okay. So, thank you so much for being here. It was an absolute pleasure. I love talking about what you're doing. If anyone hasn't picked up Dazzler yet, it's never too late. Pick it up. You're going to love it. Just come back and thank me because I know you're going to love it.
Thank you for having me, Megan.
Of course.
Fun.
Yeah. So please feel free to stop by anytime. Wherever you are listening or watching this episode, check the show notes and you will see the links to where you can find Jason Lowe. Thanks for listening to another episode of Nerd Initiative Variant Edition. You can catch all the comic book, TV show, movie reviews on nerdinitiative.com. Wherever you're listening or watching this episode, click that subscribe button so you won't miss any new episodes. Thank you so much for listening and have a marvelous day.